So welcome to all of you. Well, you got Scott here and Brendan, and
Hello, everybody.
we're bushy-tailed and bright-eyed. We've been on an aeroplane all the way from Johannesburg. We flew to Atlanta. We've just flown into New York. It's a magnificent day here in New York, and we're looking out at the New York skyline. But Brendan, tell me a little bit. Why are we here, basically?
So we're out here on a buyer's trip. We've got some clients that are coming with us to come and look at some properties, get some real hands-on education about the opportunity that we're so passionate about out here. And at the same time, we're going to be buying some property ourselves. And we're taking a new look at certain aspects. Scott, I think we go into a bit of detail here.
Yeah, look, I think something, we've gone into a huge amount of detail and we're not going to go into it, but I was actually reading an article in the Real Estate Investor magazine on the aeroplane on the way over here, and America is now rated as the #1 destination in the world to invest in 2013.
It's amazing how we called that a year and a half ago.
And it's all based on all the different countries globally. It's fascinating. But and what's really annoying for us is that the problem is that clients in South Africa, they base everything on the internet. I understand when you go to private property or Prop24 and you're looking at at a unit in Sandton as an example, or in Cape Town, in Rondebosch or whatever, it gives you a fairly good idea of the prices and the values and everything else. And the problem is you go on the internet in America and it completely confuses. It confuses the international investor, it confuses the local investor.
And we'll just go into a little bit of detail where that confusion comes from. I mean, for example...
But just before we do, so it's a huge frustration for us. We're making a lot of money in the American property market. In fact, we're about to go and spend $1 million, on properties ourselves in the exact same markets that we're recommending with the exact same partners. So we've made this video on why internet valuations can't be trusted and why your partners on the ground are so valuable. So why are your partners so very valuable? And we all had the extravaganza. A lot of people came to the extravaganza, and one of the most frustrating things at the extravaganza was we went through the concerns. We went through all the major concerns. We handed out an FAQ, and one of them was, when you look on the internet, the valuation seems so much lower, and it confuses people. And for some of you,
just tell a story there, Scott.
Well, tell us your story in terms of what your first property, basically.
I mean, it amazes me because I had exactly the same attitude when I first saw the opportunity in the States, and I didn't have anybody to help me, so I had no partners on the ground. So what did I do? I got on a plane and I flew over, and I drove Orlando and Florida flat, and I looked at a whole bunch of properties, and then I started trying to buy. So I set up my company structure and went through all that mission, ended up being back at home, and it took me nearly 5.5 months to actually buy my first property. It was extremely frustrating. It took me 12 offers before I figured out what the hell I was doing wrong. So I thought...
Sorry, just quickly, just because Brendan always underestimates this for people. An offer is filling in a full-on OTP. Anyone who's ever bought a property before, it's actually, getting inspection agents out there. There's cost, there's time, there's money.
Well, it would cost me $1,000 for the deposit, because you've got to put the deposit down to show that you're committed to the property. It would also cost me $250 for the actual third-party home inspection crew to go out and inspect the property, and then we wait to hear from the bank, and we end up in what's called a highest and best offer scenario. So it's a closed bidding system. The real estate agent gets notification from the bank, and they say, listen, put in your highest and best offer, and we will then have a look at it. And if it's a cash offer and it's reasonable, then they'll have a look. And what happened was I got rejected every single time, to the point where I was so frustrated I was pulling my hair out, and I wanted to bring my money back, because every time it cost me $250 times 12. You can work that out. It's a lot of money that I ended up spending without getting any return, but it was because I didn't have any partners to help me, so I had to hire a third-party person. And eventually my wife said, look, just try it again. And what I did was I worked backwards from my rental. I said, okay, if I can get this much rent for a property, I'm prepared to pay this much money for it. And it was advertised in the good days back then at $29,000 for this one place, and I ended up paying $42,000, and I still spent another $3,000 to $3,500 on refurbs after I bought it. So if you work that out, $29,000 from $45,000 gives you $16,000. That's almost about 52% more than the asking price. That's what I actually paid to get the property. And a lot of people don't think like that, because the market was so down. Everybody thinks, oh, the market's down, we can put offers in below the asking price. It's those asking prices on the internet are false. They are there to encourage the highest and best bidding scenario.
And I mean, as you say, it's anywhere from 20% to 50%.
And it's only gotten worse in the
Yeah,
last year.
no. I mean, that was 2 years ago. I mean, so some of you, I shared my story as well, where I built this house at Atlantic Beach in Cape Town. It was a 4-bedroom home. It was my dream home from London. I have a construction management degree that I did at UCT, and I got one of my best mates to project manage it. But I was 6,000 miles or however far away London is, and tried to do it long distance, and it was actually a shambles. It was over budget. It went over time by double. It went over budget by 50%.
Wow.
And unfortunately, my dream home, I ended up having to sell it because the quality was so terrible. And so in 2007, I came up with a formula, and I've been investing in international property since 1999, and which is 14 years for those who can't work out the maths. And I came up with a formula that I never do business unless I have a partner on the ground, because it's impossible to do long distance. And I come from a construction background. I have construction experience. I've worked on site in London with an Irish developer for 5 years. For me, it's impossible, and it's something that Brendan and I discussed, and it's actually how we teamed up, because Brendan was trying, on his own, and I was like, look, dude, there's another way to do this. There's another formula. So we actually went and we went along and we did this big extravaganza. And so I'm just looking for the page there. Where's the page gone? But no, that's not what I'm looking for. Let me just close this out quickly. We had the big extravaganza where we got all our American partners out there, and it was a wonderful event. We had hundreds of South Africans come along, and they met the partners, and generally the impression we got was they were extremely impressed by the quality and the knowledge and everything else. And as an example, one of our clients actually reserved this property. Now, if I make it full screen here, you'll actually see that it's a really nice looking property. It's in Atlanta. It's in Georgia. Its address is 40 Wimberley Way, Covington. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom. It's 2,200 square feet, so that's about 220 square meters. Now, on replacement value, you can work on between about, just for simplicity's sake, about $100 a square foot. So this property, to rebuild this house from scratch, would be about $220,000 replacement value to rebuild that from scratch, and that doesn't include the land. It was built in 2005. The estimated rent is $1,050. The tenant leaseback, and we're not going to go into that, is $160,000, and the purchase price was $113,000. So sorry, is there something you want to say?
I just want to say one thing about that purchase price over there is when you see that price, that's excluding some closing costs, so you can budget around $1,500 for closing costs. So it's $114,500.
There are no transfer fees, basically.
There's basically no transfer fees. It's only the cost of the attorney's time to actually draw everything up and do the title insurance, etc., etc. But what's very important about that purchase price is you're buying a fully finished, clean title, tenant-ready property at that price.
But let's look. Okay, so I buy this property, and we've got all the details, and we're not interested in that yet. I've now reserved this property, so I go along because I'm a South African, and I like to check stuff on the internet. So you can see that I've reserved. I've copied and pasted, and I'm going to open up Google, and I'm going to copy and paste in Google. And we've got a beautiful Dell computer here, so it's working at top speed. Did it not copy there? What's going on? No, it's just said it's
it's working.
We've been on a plane, so there we are. It's opened up there now. So let's just go in and we copy and paste. You can see we're doing this live because we're dealing with obviously a few nice little internet things. So I would paste that in now.
And then we look at the results.
Yeah, and we will see the results come up. So what will happen now is Zillow will come up, and it's either Zillow or Trulio, and you'll see stuff come up, and so probably you'll go and click on that. And now remember the purchase price was $113,000, and we'll go into that in more detail now.
So what we're trying to ascertain here is if this property is actually good value at $113,000.
Yeah. Excluding whether we think it's a good return or a rent or anything else, basically. So actually, sorry, this one that I clicked on was a rental. So let's go...
look at that search again.
Let's go back and do the search. Back into Google. I'm just doing... why is it not going back?
I'll go back there.
What's that?
Just, can you click on that?
Oh,
no.
I just want to go back to Google. It's fine. Anyway, let's go to let's open up another one here. Because because that's in the rentals section. But anyway, anyone with common sense would see that's a rental now, and they would click on the homes, because obviously we're interested in the values and the purchasing price. And this page will come up now with all the different prices in the area, and what someone okay. So it's coming up with Julia. So let's just look. What you do is you go and you see there the area code is 30016. Now for me, what I do is I then put that into this into Zillow.
Oh, Trulia.
Oh, sorry, Trulia. Yep. And I put in 30016, and I press enter. It's a far better website in terms of getting an idea in terms of valuations and everything else. And I like to go in, so this is the whole state of Covington. I like to go into the local info, and I like to go into the real estate overview. Okay, so again, remembering that this property was $113,000, and what's very interesting now is that we go in and we look here and we think to ourselves, oh, hang on, what's going on here? There's a 60 and there's a 50 and there's a 79 and there's another 60 and there's a 40 and there's a 48. And immediately you think to ourselves, wow, there's a problem here, Brendan.
Yeah, exactly. I would think that myself. And if you look at the average listing price down there on the left,
well, you see, this is where it gets interesting, because the average listing price in the suburb is $150,000. So actually, I'm buying it well below average listing price. Now, average listing price is current. It's today. It's what the properties are being sold for today in the current market reality.
Well, if we have to think about that, the average listing price is the listing price, and according to my experience, is they're selling for more than listing price. So it's an indication of the lower end of where we're actually looking at.
100%. And if you look here, interestingly enough, there's actually been there's growth in terms of the listing price, but what people will look at also is the medium sell price. And interestingly enough, with the medium sell price, it's at $77,250,000. Now, the first thing with the medium price is, tell us, why could there be that variance now between 77 and 113 and even 150?
So when we start looking at it, it actually starts becoming fairly obvious. I mean, let's say a whole bunch of properties were sold for maybe $45,000 or $55,000 or $60,000 in those particular areas. What's not taken into account on the county tax records when a sale occurs is outstanding tax liens, the outstanding HOA fees if it's in an estate or in a condominium complex, the condition of the property, so that actual cost to refurb that property, none of that is taken into account in the actual sales prices. So in order to get it up to a standard where it's beautiful and able to be tenanted, and at the same time have clean title, so there are no outstanding liens against that title, where you actually own it clean outright, would obviously cost money, and that is not taken into account in the county records, and this median sales price is pulling information from the county records.
Yeah, and I think it's quite interesting. This website's fascinating in terms of what's happened. I mean, look at the market trends in terms of the prices and how they're going up. You can see the prices in terms of even the medium sales price year on year in terms of going up, etc. The number of sales is actually decreasing. And interesting enough, just for those who haven't worked it out, the green is properties for sale and the red is actually the sold ones. So, in terms of the prices and what they sold for. But just my interest, like you go and you click on the 21,000. And
let's have a look at what it looks like.
Yeah, because this is really the important thing here. Why is it not coming up?
The internet is just slow.
Anyway, tell us, Brendan, while I'm trying to get in here, let's come back to this area and to the suburb and to the different sales prices, and tell us, from your perspective, why there would be a difference between these prices, like you mentioned. While I'm trying to zoom in and start trying to buy one of these properties.
So let's say, for example, we know that the hedge funds are coming in here and buying up a whole bunch of properties at auctions. They're buying up parcels of properties from our own suppliers. They're buying up parcels of properties wherever they can get their hands on, from developers, from banks. Now, if we have to think about it logically, if a hedge fund steps in and spends $134 million like they did in September on properties at one auction, and now we're not counting parcels of properties, they would have paid a fairly low price for all of those properties. But those prices all get registered against the titles of those properties at the county, and because it's been sold on auction, obviously it's at a lower price, but it doesn't take into account at all the refurb costs on those properties. And if you have to have a look at some of them, at the condition of them, we know, we've looked at it ourselves, where just cleaning the property would require between $8,000 and $10,000.
Yeah.
You've got to get a skip in, you've got to move furniture that the people leave behind out, you've got to fix walls, you've got to remove, well, you've just got to clean it because it's usually in a hell of a state. And if we think about that logically, why would it be in a state? If somebody lost their home into a foreclosure, they're going to be angry, and usually they take it out on the house so that it costs the bank more money, because the bank took their home away from them. So it's pretty logical why some properties will be registered on the county records at fairly low prices.
Okay, this is not working. What we are going to do though, is we're going to go into my Outlook here, and we really are struggling with internet today. But I want to set up a folder here quickly.
So what we're going to do is start contacting these agents with these properties that are low priced in a very real attempt to buy them, because we are out here. So we're going to contact them. Anybody who gets back to us within a reasonable time period, obviously while we're here for the next 2 weeks, we're going to go physically look at the houses. We're actually taking out a week extra of our time, your time and my time, Scott. And this trip has cost us each about 100 to 120,000 rand. So we're sitting on close to 250,000 rand to do this research, and we're going to go and see if we can buy some properties next week.
But to be honest, dude, it's not about the money for me. I've got a 14-month-old son. You've got an 8-week-old daughter.
Yeah, exactly.
Time away from home is far more valuable. But we come in to buy property ourselves. We just want to prove to people, because we're getting annoyed by what people are learning on the internet. So watch the space. We're here. We're getting to Atlanta in a week's time, actually. So for the next week, we're going to try and buy every property on this sheet around this property. So this was the one that was for sale, 40 Wimberley Way in Covington for 113,000. And we are going to buy and try and buy every property here. So watch the space. Over the next couple of days, we're going to be emailing, we're going to be phoning, we're going to be connecting, we're going to be recording everything we're going to do. And then when we get to Atlanta, like Brendan said, we're even going to go and check them out. Because one thing you've got to do is, these are single family homes, you've got to compare an apple with an apple.
Exactly.
You can't have a shanty town and compare it with a mansion and say, what's the difference in price, which is when you're just looking purely at numbers. And we haven't even got into returns, but we'll worry about that later. For now, we just want to compare an apple with an apple. So just before I log off, I'm going to try my last time to try and to get in here. But
it's
definitely not working for me today. So okay, so over and out for today. But we will be, as I said, over the next couple of days. Today is a Saturday, so today and tomorrow we will make an offer on every single one of these properties. We'll get hold of every single agent. And we'll phone them on Monday if we can't get hold of them. And over the next week, we'll do our best to buy all these properties, at these prices if we can.
And effectively, what we're doing is we're replicating what I did 2 years ago by trying to buy property on my own.
Oh,
and I went home with my tail between my legs.
Don't get me wrong, Brendan. On top of that, once we even if they get back to us, we've still got to try and find someone to renovate the property, inspect the property, etc., etc. But let's record the game.
Yeah, I mean, we're here to have some fun at the same time, so we're going to do it, and we're going to see what we come out with.
I mean, the question is, we're just struggling on the internet. How valuable is your time? Let's wait and see over the next week. Cheers.
Over and out.
I don't know how much you value your time, but if you've watched the beginning of our video, we were having some big struggles with Trulio. The website was down. We then actually got into the system finally, after they fixed it over the weekend. And then we tried to put in a South African mobile, and it didn't work. And to be fair, we've been doing business in America for a long time, well over 2 years. And our partners don't even phone us on our mobile, so I can pretty much guarantee you an estate agent's not going to call you. So we thought to ourselves, well, we better go and get a mobile. Well, to get a mobile, we've got one of those pay-as-you-go things. Basically.
Yeah, a T-Mobile pay-as-you-go number.
Okay, it cost us $60. And we also had to go into the store with our passport to actually, get it done, etc.
Yeah.
So, that's going to be a bit of a tricky one to get an American mobile from South Africa.
So what we're doing is actually putting together a full-on how-to come over and buy a property.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, look, the bottom line is it's taken us 4 days to get to this point to actually buy the property. So exactly as you said, we're off to Atlanta at the weekend. We're spending the whole of next week there. And just like we discussed in the video, we want to actually show what is the reality of buying stuff versus valuations versus the internet versus real life and what is actually happening on the ground. And just as a very short bypass, I thought you might find it a bit fascinating that the Wall Street Journal today is all about how the economy has gone over 15,000 on the Dow Jones. Over 50% of Americans now see that the property market's going up. So we've even had a person say to you, Brendan, in the last couple of days, "Oh, but I saw the prices were much lower a year ago." It's irrelevant. That's like trying to say, that's like trying to tell me the Dow Jones was at 7,000, 3 years ago. It was.
Exactly.
It's now at 15,000. At different times of the market. So let's go into Trulia now. We're back at this property here, 40 Wimberley Way. Just to remind everyone, it was a purchase price of $113,000 with a lease option price of $160,000. And if we could just go back to the postal code, so 40 Wimberley Way was in 30016 in Covington.
I just want to mention something here, is 40 Wimberley Way is actually on our drive route with one of our partners on Saturday, because I just lined it up so we can see it, and it's already tenanted. He just told me that we can't get into it because it's got a tenancy.
Perfect.
So I just thought I'd mention that. So we're going to go into Trulia now. Let's go check it out.
Just to remind people quickly, again, in terms of the list price and the resale price and everything else, the average listing price. But what we want to do, we've already been through that stuff. So what we really wanted to do now, and Trulia has finally fixed its website. So we wanted to go in and buy some properties. So do you want to drive there, Brendan, and just talk us through? Let's show us just where Wimberley Way is quickly.
Okay, so we can see here in the middle of the map, that's Wimberley Way in Covington, Georgia, 30016. So it's in that particular area. And if we go back to the PDF, you can see 40 Wimberley Way, Covington, Georgia. Okay, so we know where we're at. We can see what's been sold around it. So we can see something here that was sold for 107. But more importantly, we can see what's available. So, okay, we've got one right down here, $84,000. Well, one up there for $80,000, Dogwood. And now we've been doing this for a while. So we can see here, it says 2 bathroom, 2,620 square feet. But if you can see that there's a Google Street View
let's click on it,
picture, it's just very telling. And I'll show you why. So if we go and click on that, let's try and buy it.
But I don't know that. I'm sitting in South Africa. It's just available for $84,000. So I want to go to it.
So what we found now is it's logged here on Trulia. Oh look, $84,038. It's a bit of a weird asking price, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
So 2 full bathrooms. I'm glad I'm buying 2 full bathrooms, and I only have one picture taken from Google Earth. And if we have a look here, okay, it's got 180 plus days on Trulia. So this has been on Trulia's website for 6 months. Why has it been here? It says it's a bank repossessed property, and it's completed the foreclosure process and is now owned by the foreclosing lender. But if we go and check out here, it's a Realty Track listing property. So we need to go and find out more details.
What is Realty Track, Brennan?
So Realty Track's a website that basically tracks all the foreclosures in the States, where they are in the foreclosure process, etc., etc. And we had to go and pay another, I think it was $40 roughly, to become a member of Realty Track so that we can actually start seeing what the hell this is.
Most people couldn't have just clicked straight through to where
No. They wouldn't
in.
get this information. We're actually signed in. So you can see here, welcome Brendan. I had to pay for it. And we logged in. So obviously we tried to prepare a little bit for this. And if we have a look here, oh look, bank-owned REO is in the final stage of foreclosure. So it doesn't necessarily mean that foreclosure has actually happened yet. And this estimated value, $84,038. So all of a sudden here, we're at $84,038, which is an estimated value. It's not a purchase price. So if we go back here and look at Trulia's website, we immediately see there's a disparity between what's offered for sale on Trulia's website at $84,038 and the actuality. And I've only done, 4 days of research, but 5 minutes actually.
But I mean, just as my interest, your first property you bought, and I'm just reminding people, repetition's the mother of skill, is that it was actually, it was on the website for $29,000, bank owned, etc. It's exactly the same you ended up buying it for $42,000.
Exactly.
You know, which we've calculated somewhere around 45 to 50% after you had your closing costs, etc. So, and also, what about the days on Realty Track as well?
Now let's have a look at this. Days on Realty Track. It's been on here for 1,219 days. Seriously, this thing's in the middle of the foreclosure process, and what's happening? It's not getting through. If it's not getting through, there's a problem. But you know what? We're interested. We want to find out more about this stuff. Let's get hold of Tracy Ross.
Well, look, while you're getting hold of Tracy Ross quickly, I just want to come back to that 84,000 as well. I think what's very, very important here, and what most people don't actually understand, is that in South Africa, if it's 84,000, I negotiate under 84,000 and try and get it. You know, it's price, and then generally in South Africa, you're getting about 10% below listing price. In America, it's at the moment anywhere from 25 to 40% above listing price. So the way that they put it in is to entice people, get them excited.
Yeah, they want to get you in the highest and best bidding scenario so that they can get the most amount of money for their property.
Exactly.
So I'm just resending this here because I forgot I loaded my South African cell phone number in, so I'm just loading in the US cell phone number. So we've now contacted Tracy Ross. Now what we're going to do, you'll notice the email address that we used over there has been set up as a Gmail account. It's got no emails in besides the actual setup emails, and as you can see, confirmation of our trial account. The trial account is free, but we did have to pay $40 to get the full account. I think 49, there we go, $49.95. That's what we actually paid. And I'm just going to pause this here quickly. I can't pause.
So that was actually the guy knocking on the door with our room service. That's what we do when we're all our clients are out partying on the town and we're buying properties. But so Brendan, you very kindly showed us that property there for 84, obviously on Realty Track, and as we've understood, you know, it's basically a foreclosure, and we know that that's not even necessarily the price. What about that next one there for 80 basically?
Let's go and check it out. Oh, look, check that. I guarantee you this one's also, yeah, this one's also going to be a Realty Track. But let's have a look, you know. So market value of year, $80,240. 4 bedroom, 3
been
bath.
on Trulia for over 180 days.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely. So let's have a look here. Bank repossessed. Oh, geez, that sounds awesome. This property has completed the foreclosure process. So if it's through, let's buy it from the bank because it's now owned by the foreclosing lender. So now I believe it's owned because it's on the website. You know. Known as REO, real estate owned, quickly because they are non-performing assets. So please register for a free trial. Basically, this is one big advertising platform for Realty Track to get users. So let's not beat around the bush. But anyway, let's go and check it out on Realty Track anyway. Tracy Ross, she's our lady down on the ground there. So once again, we've got an estimated value over here, not an actual for sale price. Geez, look here, final stage of the foreclosure process. So it hasn't actually gone through it, and it's been on Realty Track for 630 days. We have not received a status update for this property in 630 days. Property may or may not be bank owned. We recommend that you verify the current status with the lender or local agent before proceeding. So we still don't actually know anything about this place. So anyway, let's try and get hold of this Tracy chick. Hopefully she comes back to us fairly soon. We'll be checking this email very regularly. The email is actually loaded up to forward to both mine and Scott's personal emails as well. So we'll be able to pick it up while we're traveling on the bus and be able to respond fairly quickly. So let's load up the
407
407
800 9767
767. Contact the agent. So I'm kind of hoping that we find a house that we can actually, potentially buy. Let's go and see what else we can find. So we've looked at that one. We've looked at Dogwood. Let's close this stuff down here.
Let's go back to that Trulia one.
Okay, that's Spring again. Okay, so let's go check out Trulia again and see what else we've got here. 47,000.
Come on, dude. I want
47 grand, dude. That looks pretty cheap. Around the corner from Wimberley Way that was 113. This actually looks pretty good. And there's a photo of the house. So maybe we're making progress here. 85 Hazelhurst. Okay. House looks pretty good, eh? What do you
looks
think?
really nice. Yeah.
I mean, from all the stuff we've seen it in Atlanta.
Yeah. You definitely give that an 8 or 9 out of 10 from the picture on the outside.
Yeah. Pity they don't have any other pictures or videos or anything like that might help me make an educated decision.
Well, I
but
mean,
anyway,
look, to be honest, we've got enough experience having looked at over 200 properties personally, and our partners on the ground look at over 5,000 properties per month. But we personally, you and I, have looked at over 200 properties, and we also know
it helps having RJ in the car because we have 1 minute to go through a property. So
we also know the state that some of these properties are in when you get on the inside. But that's why we're going to Atlanta as well. But
exactly, we'll do some videos. Now, interesting here, this property has been listed on Trulia for 76 days. So now I start asking a question. If it's been listed on Trulia for 76 days, and we know there are only 4 weeks of inventory available in Atlanta at any one time, why hasn't it sold? That immediately I'm asking that question. I don't know anything about this property, but I'm asking that question. But we can see some school districts, so we can do a little bit of research about it. But ultimately, we want to see if we can buy it, or if we can at least have a look at it. You can see previous sales history. So we sold for 123 back in the heyday, 100,000 back in the heyday.
Let's go try buy it.
Yeah, I mean that's the exciting stuff, isn't it? Let's see if we can get hold of this agent. Okay, and if you have a look here, it's 9:02 p.m. at night, so it's a little bit late at the moment. We're going to load the proper email address so we can track all this stuff. What's this number here? 407. Yeah.
407 800 9760.
I'm pretty sure we'll remember that by the time we're done here. And let's not just do the standard message. I mean, let's actually say, hi, I'm off South Africa.
I'm coming to Atlanta.
To purchase in Atlanta, and I on Friday. What's the date on Friday? The 10th.
10th.
More information about this property.
I have $1 million in the bank.
Yeah, $1 million in the bank. Ready to buy. We actually do have that money, and this is one of the key factors that you need to bear in mind over here. If we're going to make an offer on a property, if it's an REO or if it's a seller and it's going to be a real offer, they're going to ask for proof of funds. And when they ask for proof of funds, it can't be in rands because they don't know what the hell a rand is. It needs to be in US dollars, which means you need to have a US dollar bank account or something that you can show them in US dollars. So this is very important stuff to actually bear in mind. So you've got to have some kind of infrastructure in order to show them the proof of funds to make a proper offer that they're not going to reject out of hand just because they're getting some email from some random South African.
And because of the Patriots Act, it's illegal for them to open a bank account unless you've actually sat in front of them in a bank in America in person. Yeah. Unless you know some people that have been doing this for many years and have found ways to get people bank accounts legitimately.
Legitimately, and I mean now because we've built the relationship with the bank managers that we're working with, they're prepared to look at our clients because they see the type of client that we've been giving them, and they're very, very happy with them. Yeah. So anyway, we've got money in the bank. We can supply proof of funds, and we can close very fast.
I'm not sure she gets an email like that very often.
Yeah, I think this is probably one of the best emails any agent can hope for. So
please contact us.
If you have anything else like this, we would like to see it by Atlanta. Looking forward to your response. Let's see what happens. How soon are you looking to move? Jeez, I'm not looking to move, but this is all truly trying to sell me stuff. Anyway, I should have saved that message.
Does not email you, Andy.
No, okay. So anyway, so 85 Hazelhurst. Let's just make a note of this one because we want to be able to see how we're doing over here.
Just save the link.
Let's save the link. So what we'll do is we'll create a new folder here. I know exactly how to do this.
On the bookmark.
Yeah, but it should just bookmark it in the right place. Bookmark this page. No, it's unsorted. Let's just do this. So we can track the stuff. We want a new folder. Atlanta Property Research, May 2015. Cool. Done. Okay, let's see what else we can find. I mean, geez, we're going there for a whole week. I'm sure we can see more than one property.
Let's buy all the greens. So let's go to 64.
All the greens. Yes, yeah. You're getting excited here, bro. Okay, Jericho Drive. Let's check it out. In Covington.
I like Covington. It's probably the suburb I know best in Atlanta. Spent a lot of time there, driven around, looked at a lot of properties.
Okay, we've got another realty track. So we've already been through this twice. Bank repossessed, completed the foreclosure process. We know they're probably lying because they want you to spend $49 to register on their site. But okay.
We've done it, but still just send the guy the email.
Yeah, and we're going to send him the email. So she's going to get a lot of emails. What's that number? 407.
407 800 9767.
67. Cool. Pretty we can't actually motivate our stuff, but hopefully if she gets enough emails in her inbox tomorrow morning, she's going to know we're pretty serious. And if nothing else, we'll see if we can actually give her a call. So tomorrow morning I'll make a note of this number here, and I'll actually give her a call and say I sent you 5,000 emails. Can we see you next week? Okay, so what else do we have here? 64,000, that was Jericho.
The 105.
105. Yeah, I think that's a bit expensive.
No, I want to buy all the greens. You don't monopoly, you've got to buy all the greenhouses first.
Yeah, because the red ones are already sold. Yeah. Grayson Lane, realty track. Market value. Bank repossessed. This is copy and paste stuff, people. I hope you can see that already. But we saw Jericho. Was on days on realty tracks 156. Final stage of foreclosure. I mean, my word, do they really think that we're gonna go through all of the stuff every time? At least we're getting an idea of how these people get their valuations.
Days on 973.
973. Let's load it up. She must know we're interested. 407 900 800.
407 800 9767.
9767. I'll have this before the end of this video. Okay, so we saw Grayson, saw Jericho.
Let's go to Covington.
Yeah, we'll go back to Covington now. We just want to keep these open here so we can see exactly what we're doing. We saw the 47,000. What's that one?
Yeah.
Hazelhurst. Why not? 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom. How nice would it be if we could actually see some stuff that had some videos and some nice pictures?
Realty track again.
Realty track, okay, we're not going to...
Is it the same lady?
It's going to be the same lady if it's that particular area. I can almost guarantee it. I'm starting to see a pattern. Yeah, it's a...
Just check with it just so you get the South African number. No, it's South African number. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay. She's going to get it. Okay, so the last one down there is 83K. But what we'll do, we'll zoom out a little bit. Oh, there's a photo of a house, dude. I get excited. Let's go check it out. 4 bed, 2 bath, 1 partial bath.
So it's a nice house.
$83,000. Georgia MLS, double garage, double
Looks good
story.
from the pictures also.
Some pictures.
Pictures,
Hey, this one
pictures.
might have some potential. It's nice. Got a chair. Got some carpets. Black finishing, oak cabinets. Oh, this one looks alright. 83 grand. Let's see. 138 days on Trulia. So why hasn't anybody bought it? It's currently for sale. This property.
Same company.
Better Homes. They must be really bad sales agents. Like seriously, 6-7 months on it. Oh my goodness. Parking spaces too. Looks like a nice house. And we can see there's a few other things getting advertised. Built 2004. When last was it sold? 141,000. It's quite cool. Okay, so let's get hold of this person. Seven 800 977. Thank you. Looks interesting.
Just in case it's a different guy, just put, we have $1 million, can show proof of funds, and are coming to Atlanta this weekend to buy as many properties as possible. Because I don't think you get a more motivated sales pitch, and if you could just save that message so you can.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're going to be there for 6 days, and I reckon that, as a normal person, if you're flying out to the other side of the world, I can find a deal in 6 days. I think it's a reasonable amount of time.
Quite an interesting thought, though. If a guy from Atlanta came to Johannesburg for 6 days, what would be the chance of finding a good deal?
Yes, dude. I mean, those American guys are sharp there. I reckon they could find a good deal. Maybe, but they'd have to have decent partners on the ground, somebody they could connect with. Maybe, I don't know.
You're dreaming if you think you can arrive in a city and find a
Being
good
a little
deal
bit
in 6 days.
sarcastic. Being a little bit sarcastic.
I
Yeah,
don't
there's
think
no
a guy,
chance.
I don't think a guy from Joburg could go to Cape Town in 6 days and find a good deal, or vice versa.
Exactly. But anyway, I reckon 6 days. I mean, we're going to be there for 6 days, so I kind of want to go back home sometime. I miss my family, as I know you do. So we're in there for 6 days.
Please contact us urgent.
We like to as much we can and can close fast. Please contact me urgently. Yeah, just save this. Oh wait, let's just save his number here too. Ah, damn it. So we'll just go do this again. Let's just save his number. So we can give him a call tomorrow. Oh well, I'll write it again. Dude, it's 9:15. And we've been going for a long day. So I might make a few mistakes here. Let's just do this. Let's see what else we can find. It's time to zoom out.
Let's just look at those reds quickly before you zoom out. Just so
Some sold properties, yeah,
Yeah.
why not? Sold for 57,000 on 8th of January. That looks interesting. So as we mentioned in the previous video, I mean, if somebody did manage to get this for $57,000, well done. But we have no idea what condition it is. We have no idea if there's outstanding liens on it. We have no idea if there's anything wrong with the property.
we also don't know if it was a short sale. And
Exactly.
so
It could have been in
it was
negotiation
a,
for the
it
last
was
year.
a contract that was agreed, a year ago at that price, and it finally came through.
And we can't see it because, I mean, they're giving us the street view, so not much to go on over there. Let's have a look at the
We will
75K.
go and check them out though.
Yeah, if you're going to be driving around that neighborhood, we'll
Yeah.
take some videos and check them out.
That was the one you just checked out.
Did I check out 65 Middleton?
Was it?
No, it was the other one.
okay.
It was 57. So let's go and check out 65 Middleton. Sold on 1019 for 75,000. Built in 2005. Really doesn't tell you much.
Surprised on the pictures and stuff.
So this was an REO sale. Document type REO. Transaction type arm's length. So willing buyer, willing seller apparently. Okay.
That could easily be of one of the big funds buying multiple properties off the banks.
Could be. There's one sold for 145. Let's go check that one out.
They really don't give you much detail to actually be able to do proper analysis. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, we can't see pictures. We don't know the amount of bedrooms because it only tells us it's got 2 bathrooms. Warranty deed. So this looks like it was a willing buyer, willing seller transaction. It was sold in 2012 for 66,000. Interesting. REO. Very interesting. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else that we can actually buy. I like looking at sold properties, but mostly I like looking at stuff we can actually buy. So should we keep it tight around here?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the whole purpose, But I don't think if those realty check ones, we should try and waste our time if it's the same lady every time.
Okay, let's just check this one. So you can start picking up, oh yeah, okay, this is a realty track, we're not going to go through that again. Let's have a look here. Oh,
We did that one.
we did 20 Montana. We did that one, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
was
did
good.
that one. That's 42K over there. That's definitely going to be a realty track, but let's just open it and see.
It's quite a lot smaller. It's 1,200 square foot. Also a realty check.
Yeah, also realty track.
Just click it and see if it's the same lady.
At least the internet is working out much better than
Yeah.
New York. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Same lady. Okay. So let's just zoom in a little bit tight there.
What about that one for 176?
Well, I mean, we got one for 77 here. Let's just have a look if there's a photo. No, there isn't a photo. What is this thing doing there? So there's probably going to be a realty track. I mean, we can see a pattern here. I'm not going to keep going into 83. We've done that one. The 176. That also looks like a realty track. Oh, it's a realty track. Seems quite expensive. Do you want to go into it?
Yeah,
Closing lenders. No details. Same check. From the looks of things, we're buying a really big forest. Final stage of foreclosure. Okay, I mean, geez. Now, imagine we're trying to do a research in a bigger metropolitan area, and there's all these listings telling us that there's stuff available at these prices, and it's not bloody well available.
Let's go just hover over these ones and see if pictures come up. That's a picture,
Four bed.
or is that a real
That,
picture?
that's also been looks like Street View from the top or something. Google Street View. Yeah, that's Realty Track. I mean, this is actually getting a bit painful now. 117 grand. There we go. So there we go, 117.
So it's also Realty Track.
Yeah, 64. 455 Spring Lake. Local agent contact an agent showing Street View, but they're not showing anything. Well-maintained home, swimming pool, tennis community, water pool clubhouse. So this will probably be in a gated or at least a estate type of community. Bring all offers, fenced yard. Looks like a different place here. Yeah, so we've got some people we can possibly call over there. But we want to just get hold of them, so let's go here and just grab their email address quickly.
Just give me write the message in Word and then we can copy and paste it.
Yeah, let's get this stuff sorted out. Control M. Oh, okay.
To do the full message like you did with the first time.
Yeah.
Funny, Brendan, while you're doing that message, I'll tell a little story. I had a client of mine that said to me, because there's that whole thing of in life, do you want to go and bake? Do you want to go to the bakery and buy a baked cake, or do you want to go and get all the ingredients and try and do it all yourself and look at a recipe book and try and work out how to bake the cake, etc. I had a client, I said, based on the experience, and we showed your property and my property in Cape Town, and my experience has always been to work with people on the ground and to provide a full solution, an end-to-end solution, so that you can do it properly. And I mean, at the end of the day, you're doing this so that you've got a plan B, you've got wealth preservation, you've got peace of mind, and you can create global wealth. And that's the whole objective. It's a rand hedge and a number of other reasons that people invest, and they kind of tend to lose sight of that. And she actually said to me, this solution that you've got is for unsophisticated investors, because she knows how to buy a house and she knows how to renovate and she knows how to get a management agent. And I actually said to her, I disagree with you. It's not for unsophisticated investors. In fact, a couple of our clients, one of them is worth about 500 million, the other one's worth $1 billion, and it actually is sophisticated investors we deal with who value their time and value the input of having experts on the ground, and not the unsophisticated investors that want to try and run around and do it all themselves. Because most sophisticated people have actually graduated to the next level and realized that the real way to create wealth is to have, work with partners. It's an interesting
to have people
story,
doing it for you.
But it's classic the mindset. You know what I mean? And I mean, we're doing this and we're having some fun now. But I mean, you could spend weeks on this. Even if you're in South Africa or in America. And I'm just talking while you're looking for more properties here and sending messages. But
Exactly. And I mean, let's say we do find one, and we go and look at it. Fantastic. Another Realty Track one. Who do we get to do an inspection? Who do we get to fix it? How do we know if it's been fixed to county codes? That type of stuff. And once we've done all of that, how do we get it tenanted? How do we get it? All of that type of stuff. So there's so many variables that we need to take into account here.
Well, our partners are looking at on average about 5,000 properties a month. So what we're doing tonight, but they've got all the contacts on the ground. As Ryan always talks about, it's actually the inner circle. The people that close fast, have the money. They're the ones the banks phone with the real deals. In terms of what's happening. That looks like a nice house.
Oh, look at this, 97,500.
And my point is, they're looking at 5,000 properties a month. They have 6 people in permanent employ that all they do is drive around and look at properties. And they literally whittle the properties down to like the last about 300 properties per month. And then RJ personally himself goes around. And we've had the privilege of driving around with him for a number of days. We look at an average of about 40 properties a day. And that's why I can, categorically say that I personally have been inside over 200 properties in Atlanta.
Exactly.
So I'm just trying to give a level of sophistication. He's got 8 building crews, and he fires one every month. He has a policy of, because he says all builders get lazy. Just want to change the email there.
Yes.
He says all builders get lazy, and so you've got to constantly keep them on their toes. So he gets a new building crew in every single month, and the worst one gets basically evicted, or what's the word called, fired, I suppose. As Donald Trump would say. And what's very interesting is that keeps them on their toes. He's got an absolute eye for detail, and he's meticulous when it comes to the conversions. Any one of the multiple video testimonials we've got from all our clients that come on the buyer's trip would attest to that in terms of the quality. And how are you going to do that and achieve that level of professionalism from long distance? You can't. It's because the guy has OCD, ADHD, and really, but it's fantastic because of the quality that you're getting. So I'm just trying to compare the bake your cake, which we're trying to do at the moment. We're trying to do it all ourselves, etc., etc. We haven't even worried about all those processes in comparison with the guys that we've got on the ground that are providing an extremely valuable service, and that we have provided an extremely valuable service finding the best partners on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we're starting to move into a slightly different suburb area over here. It's still in Covington, but it's a different subdivision, I think.
Let's
quite a lot higher. Zoom out a little bit. Yeah, let's just have a look. No, it's not too far away there. Still in the same little loop.
But it's interesting now. You look there. Look at that one for 82. What's that on for 82?
Let's go and see what that one looks like. But I mean, this gives you another Realty Track. Let's just make sure. You know what they say about assumption. Yeah, it's a Realty Track. You're starting to recognize them, eh? Let's have a look at this 100,000 sold. December 19th, 2012. I mean, if we have a look here, there's one for 247,000. No photos. It looks like a Realty Track. There's way too many there for 247. What the hell's going on here?
It's probably a piece of land, a stand.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's stands all around. It is. Check that one on the Realty Track. Let's
go and check it out. It's quite interesting there. Look at all of those houses. Also taken from Google Maps, Google Street View, Google Earth. Come on, internet, don't let me down. Same chick.
Send a message for that one though, because that's an interesting one. It might be land.
Yeah. $800, $800, Can you remember how many actual houses for sale we've actually seen. Two. Where an agent's available.
Two.
I mean that's
No, three actually, because you wrote that word message.
Yeah. I mean seriously, that is actually just enough to irritate the living down outside of me.
Well, to be honest, I'm bored out of my mind. I don't know about people watching the recording, but this is the exact reason that I don't try and do everything myself.
Hold on. We've got a 5-bedroom home here for $144,000, and it actually has photos. So let's go and check that out.
But while you're checking that out, just to repeat what I was saying, this is why I have partners on the ground that pay 6 people to do this all day long and to find and analyze properties. So when I come over, I'm going straight to the best properties in the best areas. Because to be honest, like I got better things to do in my life than to sit on the internet looking at 3 out of probably 20 properties or 30 properties we looked at. The rest all Realty Track.
And we're in such a tiny little
we're like
suburb
like
of Cummington.
Suburb, basically. We're not even in a suburb. We're like in a street.
And to be honest, I mean, we pulled that from a house that we have available. Well, it's actually been sold now in the last week and been tenanted as well. But it's one of our partners' houses that drove us to that suburb, so we could start working from. So we didn't just randomly say, okay, let's pick a place.
Something that people don't even take into account. But you in America, if your house is on the right side of the street, your kids can go to the good school, and if your house is on the wrong side of the street, your kids can't go to the good school. There's an area called Clayton County, and one of our friendly competitors in South Africa has been selling a lot of South Africans into Clayton County. It's one of only 3 counties in the whole of America that's had their education system downgraded. So it doesn't matter whether you're a tenant or a homeowner. No one in Atlanta wants to buy property or live, period, in Clayton County, except for South Africans that buy property based on a picture and a piece of paper and a yield. And my point of what Brendan's saying is that we're going to the right areas because our partners put us in that right area. Now we're shopping around just to see what the prices are of the properties around that area. But I mean, where would you actually get started? Atlanta's got 6 million people. Where would you start? North, south, east, west? Which county would you start in? Where are the good schools? How would you know it? You've got no chance. 6 days, to be honest, Brendan, it actually annoys me when people even think they can. I don't think you could go there in 6 months and find good deals. And if this is all you did, like every single day, basically.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%.
And I know that for a fact because I've been doing this now since 1999, investing offshore. And to be honest, I've been investing in America. I've come to America 5 times in the last year. So I know that, and I've spent more than between 2 to 3 weeks. And I know you've been there with me. Yeah. And my point is, I still don't really know the different cities we go to. I don't know my way around properly. I don't know where the schools are. And I've got partners on the ground, partners that I trust. So do you. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
Yet I still don't know, the areas. So it actually really annoys me when someone thinks they kid themselves that they're going to be able to do it themselves.
Yeah. So I think we're going to sign off there. I mean, we've sent these people a hell of a lot of emails tonight. We can start zooming out and seeing what else is available here. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff. And this is what you're going to have to do. I mean, if you're looking to choose a property, you're going to have to be going through this stuff non-stop, replying to those people if they come back to you. I mean, we don't even know if they're going to actually come back to us or not.
Let's do one more. We'll get all of this agent.
One more, okay. Let's see what it looks like. It's only one else.
You can see that as a steep driveway, though.
Yeah, because there's that rust.
We don't like to buy properties on steep driveways because tenants don't like properties on steep driveways. Why? Because in winter time their cars get stuck in the snow, etc., etc. Did you know that? No, I'm sure you didn't. Our partners know that, and again, funny enough, the house that I looked at with our friendly competitor in Clayton County was on a very steep driveway, and our partner on the ground said he would never buy that property, not only because it was in 1972 and you'd probably be sued because of lead-based paint, but also just because of the driveway. He said he would never touch a property with that type of driveway because it's very hard to rent. Now, when you're dealing with someone with 35 years experience in that market, I think it's someone that you should probably listen to.
Exactly. Okay, so we did one more. I mean, it's right down the road there for $60,000.
Yeah. Just before you sign off, though, we will, as Brendan said, spend some time on the phone tomorrow while we're driving around looking at more properties actually here in Memphis. But Brendan, if you can, please get on the phone and phone those agents. So we're even going to be proactive.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, we're not going to just wait for them to reply.
Yeah.
We'll give them all a call.
Yeah, but I think what we'll do, let's wait till midday and just see if anyone, or I don't know, 11 o'clock or something.
Yeah, we'll
Just
stop
because-
around lunchtime. I mean,
Yeah,
we're going to stop and I'll make some phone calls around
But that's my
lunchtime.
point. My point is, we've said to them, we've got $1 million in cash, ready to go, fast closing. You don't get a more motivated buyer than that.
Exactly.
Although you actually do, because you've got the big funds running around with billions of dollars. But anyway, it's pretty much, I would say, it's as good as any of our buyers and investors back home would be able to do. And so let's see how keen they actually are to get back to us, basically.
Yeah, no, we're going to do that and we'll pick it up from there. So hope you weren't too bored tonight. Let's see how it goes. And this is kind of in the trenches, how to buy property in the States, or maybe how not to buy, but we'll see how it works out. Okay, good night. Bye.
Cheers. Okay, so we've just arrived in Atlanta, and it's Friday evening. As you know, we made the video 48 hours ago, and we spent a lot of time, about 2 hours, looking at all the properties that were available. I think it was about 20 properties, wasn't it, Brendan?
Yeah, about 20 or
About
so.
20 properties. About 17 of them were Realty Track, which we've been through in detail, and 3 of them were from estate agents. We have an American bank account, which, as you know, is very difficult to get. We have an American SIM card, which, as you know, is impossible to get unless you come to America.
Yeah.
Same with American bank account, actually. We have $1 million in a bank account. And
So we have proof of funds.
we have proof of funds, and it's in cash, so we can close pretty quickly. And I would have thought that that would make us an extremely valuable client to any estate agent.
I would think so. I mean, you'd think it would be a motivated buyer that people would phone quickly.
Yeah, because obviously these properties are all cheap, and anything you see on the internet you can buy. So anyway, we're very interested to just give you some feedback. 48 hours later, not a single person has phoned us. And we thought we'd just check the emails because we're off tomorrow to go and look at a whole lot of properties. And you can probably see Brendan here is just looking at his emails. We set up the email specifically for this. And there's only one reply that has come through by this Tom Stanford.
So let's open it up here and check it out. So he did not phone us, but he did send us 2 emails. He said, "This home is still available. Call us." And then this one, "I am ready when you are." So we'll give him a call then tomorrow morning and see if we can go around and have a look at this one house after vetting 20 properties so far.
Yeah, and look, funny enough, it was the house that had a very steep driveway, and I know that we don't buy properties like that because our partner has actually told us. You can see the damp at the bottom there and everything else. But anyway, that's we certainly will go and check it out. But yeah, just an update. We're going tomorrow to look at another 15 properties here in Atlanta
That we can actually buy.
that we can actually buy. And I think what's really important here is that we're going to continue doing this research, and we will keep you updated.
Yeah, that's it. That's what we're here for. Good night.